Hello everyone, today Hathanhvn continues to tell 5 stories about life. Please listen. Story 201, A warm winter. So, at the end of the year, a cold wind from the north blows through the streets, covering the city with a thin layer of snow. A young girl named Ji-min, who has just turned 28, is sitting in a small roadside cafe. Winter in Korea always brings a feeling of loneliness, but it is also the time when people look for family values and take care of themselves more. Ji-min is an office worker, working for a small company specializing in financial services. Although the job is not her biggest dream, it gives her a stable life. However, recently, Ji-min has begun to feel worried about her financial future. She does not have much savings, and often spends on unnecessary things, from buying new clothes to eating out. One day, while Ji-min is drinking coffee alone, she meets Soo-jin, her best friend from college. Soo-jin is now a financial expert, has a stable job, and lives a comfortable life. The two of them sat and talked for a long time, and Soo-jin noticed the anxiety in Ji-min's eyes. She gently asked, "Ji-min, why do you look so worried?" Ji-min sighed, sharing her insecurities about money management, not knowing how to save and invest properly. Soo-jin smiled and told her a story. "Back then, when I first started working, I didn't know how to manage my finances either. Just like you, I often spent money on unnecessary things and felt worried about the future. But then I learned an important thing: money is a tool, not a goal. If you don't manage it, it will quickly slip away. I started creating a budget every month, setting aside a portion of the money for savings and investment. Starting with small amounts, I gradually felt more secure about the future." Soo-jin's story made Ji-min suddenly realize that life cannot be chasing luxury items or expensive meals out forever. She decided to change the way she managed her finances. She made a reasonable spending plan, set aside a portion of her income for savings, and started learning about safe investments. At the end of the year, when the winter days became colder than ever, Ji-min sat in her familiar coffee shop, looking out the window at the light snow. She smiled as she thought about the changes she had made. A feeling of security and peace gradually spread in her heart. She understood that taking care of her financial health is not something too complicated. As long as you have a plan, know how to manage and save, your life will be more stable. Lesson. Taking care of your financial health is an important skill to help you stabilize your life. Knowing how to manage money, save and invest properly will help you overcome worries about the future and create a solid foundation for long-term plans.
Story 202, Christmas love story in the Nordic lights. On a cold winter evening in Helsinki, where the roofs were covered with pure white snow, Clara, a young Finnish girl, was walking down the old street filled with sparkling lights. The large Christmas tree in the main square was decorated with countless sparkling gold stars, and the people around were wearing scarves and warm hats to protect against the biting cold. Clara had lived in Helsinki all her life, but every Christmas, she felt that there was something special about these streets. She loved the peaceful beauty of the city, loved the small houses hidden in the white snow, and also the shops selling traditional handicrafts. While wandering around, Clara suddenly saw a small handicraft stall sitting modestly on the corner of the street. Something drew her to approach, and she discovered a man sitting there carving small, pretty symbols on wood. He looked at her with warm eyes as blue as the Finnish winter sky, and a gentle smile. "Hello, I'm Mika. Do you like these?" Mika asked, his voice as deep as the wind. Clara smiled. "I've never seen these things before. They're beautiful, but I don't understand what they mean." Mika raised his head, his eyes shining with interest. "Each piece has its own story. I carve images of life, nature, and people into them. And every time someone asks about them, I get a new story." Mika's answer made Clara feel strangely curious. She sat down next to him and began to listen to each story about the symbols on the wood. They were symbols of the seasons. Of special moments that Finnish people cherish, from the morning light of spring to the long dark of winter. During the conversation, Clara realized that Mika not only carved images on wood, but also carved stories of her life into them. Each item was a testament to his patience, love and care for the little things around him. As the evening gradually fell, Clara stood up and thanked Mika for the interesting stories. She realized that in this life, there are many things that we have never fully understood, and magical moments always come when we keep our curiosity about the world around us. On the way home, Clara felt her heart warmer than ever, as if the cold winter was no longer scary, but became a part of the beautiful stories that she would never forget. Lesson: keeping our curiosity helps us explore and understand the world more deeply. It is the motivation not only for us to seek answers, but also for us to love and cherish the seemingly simple things around us.
Story 203: Encounter under the city lights. In the heart of bustling Shanghai, where skyscrapers reflect the bright light of neon lights, Lian, a young girl with a passion for books, often visits a small coffee shop in a quiet alley. This coffee shop, with its gentle and romantic space, is always where she finds peace after stressful working hours. Every afternoon, Lian sits by the window, sipping a cup of Hathanhvn2 tea and flipping through her favorite books. She reads all kinds of books, from classical Chinese literature to modern works by Western authors. For Lian, books are not only a source of entertainment, but also a way for her to broaden her knowledge and vision of the vast world out there. One evening, while Lian was absorbed in her favorite novel, a young man walked into the shop. He had a refined appearance, sharp eyes, but was somewhat out of place in the noisy space of the city. He ordered a cup of black coffee and sat down at a table near Lian. Not long after, he looked up and realized Lian was reading a book that he had also loved. "This book is really good," he said, startling Lian. "I read it a year ago. It made me think a lot about life." Lian looked up, looking at him curiously. "Really? I just started reading it. Thank you for sharing. It's really interesting," she replied with a smile. The young man, named Tuing, was a successful young investor. Despite his busy work schedule, he always found time to read books, because he believed that books not only broadened his knowledge but also helped people understand the world and themselves better. Tuing began to share with Lian about the books he loved, the lessons he had learned from them, and how those books had helped him succeed in work and life. The more they talked, the more Lian felt a special connection between the two. She realized that, although they came from different worlds, one was a finance professional, the other an ordinary marketing employee, they both shared a great passion: books. Deep conversations about books, stories and life philosophies made them understand each other better and created an unexpected connection. Gradually, Lian not only found new books to read but also learned to see the world from many different perspectives. Tuing's stories broadened her vision of the opportunities and challenges at work, as well as important values in life. She realized that reading was not only for entertainment but also for self-development, learning from those who came before and applying those lessons to daily life. One evening, as spring approached, Lian and Tuing sat together in a coffee shop, each holding a book in their hands. Tuing looked at her with a gentle gaze. "I think that if we never stop reading, never stop learning, no matter how life changes, we will always be on the right track." Lian smiled, her eyes shining like stars in the night. She knew that, thanks to books, she not only learned knowledge but also discovered profound values in life, helping her to become more mature and stronger. Lesson: reading books regularly not only helps to expand knowledge but also helps us have a broader vision of the world. It is a way of continuous learning, helping us develop ourselves and face challenges in life more wisely.
Story 204: The Martial Artist and the Lessons of Failure. In a village nestled between towering mountains, where cold winds blow through crevices in the rocks, there is a martial arts school famous for its excellent martial artists. The school was founded by Master Han, who not only taught martial arts but also imparted profound lessons about life. An ambitious young man named Duin came to the martial arts school with the desire to become a great martial artist. However, despite his diligent training, he always lost in sparring matches with other martial artists. Each time he lost, Duin felt disappointed and sometimes wanted to give up. One morning, after a disastrous defeat, Duin sat quietly under an old tree in the schoolyard. Master Han approached him, looking at him with a patient gaze. "Don't be sad about failure," he said gently. "Failure is a great teacher. It helps you realize your shortcomings and is an opportunity for you to grow." Duin listened silently, feeling the sincerity in Master's words. After that conversation, he realized that every failure was not the end, but a valuable lesson. He began to analyze his losses, learn from each mistake, and improve himself day by day. As time passed, Duin gradually became stronger. One day, he was selected to participate in an important match to compete for the title of the Last Fighter. His opponent was a veteran, famous, and very powerful fighter. The match was intense, but Duin remembered his previous failures, fought calmly and confidently. In the end, he won, not only because he was stronger, but because he learned how to stand up from failure, not give up, and persevere until the end. Lesson: failure is not the end, but a valuable lesson. It helps us realize our weaknesses and opens up opportunities for improvement. Failure is a necessary stepping stone on the road to success, and learning how to deal with it is the key to achieving great things in life.
Story 205 title, The End of the Year Gift. On a cold late afternoon, when snow was falling sparsely on the main street of Chicago, Emma, a young woman working at an advertising agency, was walking into a small, pretty cake shop. She was not only looking for a cake for the New Year's party, but also had another important reason. She wanted to see Jake again, her longtime friend and colleague. Jake was the one who had helped Emma a lot in her work and was always ready to stand by her when she was in trouble. However, in recent weeks, Emma noticed that Jake had become more distant and less talkative. He also stopped attending company meetings like before. She was worried, not understanding what was going on. When she entered the cake shop, Emma saw Jake standing behind the counter, his eyes focused on the computer as if calculating something. She smiled and approached. "Hi Jake, long time no see." Jake looked up, his eyes a little surprised but quickly brightened when he recognized Emma. "Emma, it's nice to see you again. Are you ready for the New Year's party?" Emma sensed that something was wrong. She sat down next to Jake and asked gently, "You look tired. Is something wrong?" Jake sighed, put down his laptop and looked straight at Emma. "I'm really not okay, Emma. Work is piling up, but I can't finish everything on time. I haven't been able to communicate effectively with my colleagues and boss, and now they're feeling frustrated. I feel like I've missed out on a lot of important responsibilities." Emma listened and looked at him with understanding eyes. "You know, Jake, responsibility isn't just about getting things done, it's about keeping promises and taking care of the relationships around you. If you've worked with your colleagues for many years, they will understand and accept if you take the initiative to talk about your problems and find a way to solve them. Honesty and commitment are the most important." Jake was surprised and a little confused. "I tried, but it seems like things just slipped away." Emma looked at him and said, "Start with the smallest things. Be proactive in apologizing to the people you let down. Make clear and serious commitments to complete the work. More importantly, communicate with them regularly, so they understand the situation and know that you are trying. That is how you show responsibility for your work and for everyone." Jake was silent for a moment, then nodded. "Thank you, Emma, I didn't see the problem correctly. I will try to do what you said." The next day, Jake did as Emma said. He proactively met with his boss and colleagues to admit his shortcomings and come up with a specific plan to complete the work. He also apologized to those who were affected by his delay and promised to improve in the future. Gradually, not only did his work improve, but his relationships at work also returned to normal. On New Year's Eve, when Emma and Jake met again at the New Year's party, he smiled happily. "Thank you, Emma, you helped me realize the most important thing. When I live responsibly, not only my work but also my relationships around me become better." Lesson: living responsibly is not only about completing work but also about keeping promises and maintaining relationships. When you take the initiative to take responsibility, face your mistakes and improve step by step, you not only build trust with others but also grow in work and life. Thank you for listening. Goodbye and see you in the next short stories about life.